Good morning. Happy Friday morning. Friday the 9th of December. Can you believe it's so close to Christmas, the holidays, and Hanukkah, and many other ways of celebrating this glorious time? I always love the fact that when we think about winter, what we're celebrating at the deepest, darkest time is the light that is in this world. But that's not what this video is about. This is the Morning Living on Purpose Facebook Live. I'm Charlie Hugh-Jones. Thank you for tuning in, those that have chosen to do so this morning or on the replay. I did my first Facebook Live on Monday. Looking back on it, I noticed all kinds of things that I'd want to do differently if I did another Facebook Live. So here I am. Hopefully it's different. You can count the number of that I say or don't say, because that was one of the things that I did a lot of on Monday. Very different from presenting, very different from being in a studio with a camera. There you go, there's one. So glad you could join me. I want to talk a little bit about the seminar that I'm hosting tomorrow. The Living on Purpose, Unlocking the Best Version of You half-day seminar, Saturday the 10th of December, is at the Executive Meeting Centre of the Doubletree by Hilton on PGA, just in Palm Beach Gardens. Starts at 8:45 a.m. It's going to run through till 12:30 p.m. So it's 3 hours of intense work by you, teaching by me, how to live your best, well, not how to live your best day ever, how to unlock the best version of you. So why would you come to this seminar? Well, if you're a person who feels like the world seems to be happening to you, your life seems to be being lived by someone else or be controlled by somebody else, and you don't feel in control, you don't feel that you're living a life of freedom and choice, well, this is a seminar for you. If you're looking for more purpose in your world, more meaning, more clarity and more focus, well, this is a seminar for you. If you're looking for more contentment, more happiness, more fulfillment, then this is a seminar for you. And if you want to be more deeply connected to those that you love, and you want to love more profoundly, more authentically, then this is a seminar for you. So that's tomorrow, Saturday, the 10th of December. It's a Living on Purpose seminar, Unlocking the Best Version of You. Now, I'm Charlie Hugh-Jones of charliehugh-jones.com. I'm the creator and founder of Living on Purpose. And why am I doing this? Why did I want to set up seminars that you could come to, that I could share some of my story, some of the tools and techniques and strategies that I've learned along the way? Well, because this is me being the best version of me. This is me taking my passion. This is me using the values that are inside me, the most important things for me. This is me taking the skills and skill sets that I've acquired over the years and deliberately framing them to go help people be the best version of themselves. Before settling here in South Florida, I spent 10 years in London, New York, and San Francisco helping Fortune 500 companies, global brands, healthcare systems, and startups engage with their stakeholders, with their employees, with their investors, but more importantly with their customers. Because my world was all about unlocking the habits of people and then aligning value to that so that people could deliver on their goals. But what was profoundly important to me is people. I love people. I see the best in people, and I really want people to be able to see that for themselves and then operate from that place. So I designed a course specifically about getting the best version of you out more often. So what kind of tools and techniques, what is this all about tomorrow? Well, if you show up, you are going to get, you're going to learn some principles, and those principles are around inspiration, imagination, and innovation. And then you're going to get some tools that you can use in order to unlock the best version of you. And then the third thing you're going to get are strategies to work those tools into your life, the way your world operates, the context that you live in. You're going to learn how that is, how to put those into place. Because we have 4 sessions. The first is around who is the best version of you, and in what circumstances do you show up like that. The second session is around igniting inspiration. That's where you find your deepest meaning. That's where your values show up. That's where your life purpose really, really comes into play. And I'll show you how to connect with your essential self. I'll show you how to access and then align some of your life with your deepest values. And then we'll look at how to explore and find out and recognize those signatures of your life purpose so that you can take one action every day that it's in line with that. So that's the inspiration session. We'll then move on to the imagination session. That's fueling your imagination. Our imagination is one of the most powerful tools we have that shapes the reality we experience. So fueling it with the right things gives us a phenomenal capacity to shift that internal negative voice, those thoughts that criticize ourselves, those thoughts that say we're not good enough, those thoughts that debilitate us from being the best version of ourselves. And we can shift those to a more positive frame. You'll also learn how to visualize. I'll give you some tools on how to visualize the best version of you showing up in the common situations that you deal with every day. Not some future far off, I've reached my goals, I've become successful in 10 years' time, but tomorrow, or even in the afternoon, the moment you've walked out of the seminar. There's some tools that I'm going to give you and show you some strategies that you can implement that in your world. And then the third session is going to be the Unleashing Innovation. Unleashing innovation. Innovation is where things change. Innovation is doing something you haven't done before, the new. It's also physical. I love getting to that session because that's the session where people begin to figure out, how does this tool fit in my life so that I can unlock the best version of me on a daily basis. So I'll show you how to overcome bad habits, overcome inertia, that stuff that stops you from making changes. I'll show you how to create some new habits and harness the power of routine. One of the most fundamental things you can learn is how to reduce startup energy. The amount of energy it takes for you to do something new is set against you until you learn some of these secrets and some of these keys. So I'm going to give those to you. And what we'll do at the end of the session is we'll wrap everything up by giving you a single strategy to implement all the principles and all the tools from the whole day into your world in just 7 minutes every day. Now, I'm sure you can do that. Everybody has 7 minutes, even if it's just setting your alarm clock for 10 minutes earlier than you would do normally. So that's what people are going to learn at the seminar. And in doing so, that best version of you will show up more often. So I'm looking forward to welcoming you tomorrow for that seminar. If you can't make it tomorrow, don't worry. Look out on the Facebook page for news that's coming up of other events that are happening in the new year. We've got retreats. There's a set of 4 retreats that are going to go on every quarter next year. The first one's going to be fantastic. In the new year, we're all thinking about how do we set our lives up for success. We're thinking about the resolutions we want to make. We're thinking about the changes we want to make. And we'll be looking at that specifically for you in a retreat that's going to be advertised. It's going to be a weekend, Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. And we'll give you the details of that soon. That's one thing that's really exciting. The second thing is there's a number of conferences coming up next year where I'm speaking at. The Women's All About You conference is coming up in March the 3rd. I'll put details of that on the website too and on Facebook. And so you can get details and figure out whether you're going to show up there, because that's going to be a fantastic session. I'm joining some incredible speakers on the stage as a keynote there, and that's going to have some profound effect on the women in Palm Beach County. Also, don't worry if you're not based in Palm Beach County. I'm excited to tell you that next week we're releasing a new members area that will allow people to access content, some how-to videos that I've created about how to be happier, how to make great decisions, how to know your life purpose in 5 easy steps, all those kind of things, and some written content, some checklists. They're all going to be in the free members area that you can access by joining the Living on Purpose community. We'll show you details of how to do that soon. And then on top of that, the back end, following that, we'll then be releasing some digital products, how to live your best day ever. That's going to be something that you'll be able to join if you're already a member. You can unlock that content for you to look at your own time and work through some of the principles, some of which will be similar to the ones that we've dealt with in how to unlocking the best version of you. And then on top of that, next year, March, April, May, June, we're going to be running even bigger seminars on the Living on Purpose framework, the Unlocking the Best Version of You. So mark your diaries, your calendars, your schedules for next year to look out for those adverts, because I'll be excited to see you there. In closing, I just wanted to tell you a story. It's not a client of mine. It's a story I saw recently. A wonderful guy who spends a lot of his time inspiring other people, putting videos on YouTube that are specifically to excite you and inspire you and me on how to live our lives and the lives that we can live when we are being purposeful, when we are living our values. And this story really moved me. I hope I don't cry on this video, because when I tell it, it really moves me and impacts me because of how profound and how deep and how much it resonates with the hopes we have about our best version showing up. So this story is about two people. I'll let you form your own opinion, but I just wanted to tell you about this. The guy who told the story is Prince EA. You can find him on YouTube, you can find him on Facebook. He has a phenomenal narrative style. He tells stories with such passion and conviction. I'm not going to do it justice, just to let you all know right now. I like telling stories, but he's a far better storyteller than me. But I want to tell you this story about a young man who, in order to be accepted into a gang, in order to be validated for being a man, even though he was only 13 or 14 years old at the time, took the life of another innocent boy. He pulled out a gun and he shot him. No provocation, no cause, just to prove himself to the gang. He was caught by the police and he was in court being sentenced, and there in court was the mother of the boy he shot. There was no mitigating cause, there was no reason why he had taken this action other than just to be accepted into the gang. And when he was being sentenced to a juvenile detention centre for 4 to 8 years, whatever it was, for committing this murder, he was let out of the courtroom. And just as he was going through the door, the mother of the son, the mother of the young man that he had killed, that he had murdered, stood up calmly and in a dignified manner and said, "I am going to kill you." And they were the last words he heard before he was walked out of the courtroom with the police and taken to where he was going to be held for the next few years. A few months passed and he's told he has a visitor. He's told it's the mother of the boy he shot, the boy he murdered. And he's a little bit concerned and nervous about this. But he's been having to face his demons in prison, and she shows up and she asks him about himself. She asks him about his mother. He hasn't had a mother for a number of years. She asks about his father. Never knew his father. Asks about where he lives. Well, he couch surfs. He ends up on in other people's rooms. He's never had a home of his own, or not for as long as he can remember. But he's in prison, and he's looked after and he's fed. And the woman goes away. A couple of weeks later, she turns up again, and she gives him money for cigarettes, the only thing he can buy in the detention centre. And she talks to him again. And then she leaves. Another few weeks go by, and she turns up. And this pattern continues. Every few weeks, she visits him. It's the only visitor that he has in prison. The only person who has bothered to show up. None of the gang members showed up. Nobody, no family that he knows shows up. But this woman, the mother of the son, the boy he murdered, he shot, shows up week after week, month after month, for the whole of his time in detention. As it's coming towards the end, the last few months of his incarceration that he's in there before he's going to get out, she asks him, "Have you got anywhere to work when you get out? Are you going to get a job? Are you going to be able to do that?" He's utterly hopeless. You know, I've got a prison record, I'm just turning 18, no one's going to employ me. And the woman says, "I've got a friend, he owns a factory. He might have a job for you. Why didn't I ask him?" And she does. And so when that young man comes out of detention, when he's released, he's able to go and work at this factory. A couple of weeks before he's released, the woman asks, "Have you got anywhere to stay?" And he says, "No, I haven't figured that out yet. No one's going to have me." So she offers for him to come and live in her house. He's a little bit nervous at first, but yeah. The day comes for his release and he walks out of the gates. He hears the chain link fence and the door slam behind him, and there she is, standing there, next to a car, which he gets into, and she drives him to her home. She gives him the room of her son, who she lost. And he begins to live this new life. He goes to work. He sits down for meals with her. She feeds him. She gives him a roof over his head. She got him a job. And a friendship grows between them. 3 months later, she asks him to come into the living room and sit down on the sofa opposite him. And she says to him, "Do you remember that day in prison when you were sentenced for the murder of my son, who you killed?" He says, "Yes, I remember it really well. Do you remember the words I said to you before you left the courtroom?" He says, "How can I forget them? I am never going to forget that you said, 'I'm going to kill you.'" And that has haunted me for all these years. And I've just been wondering when that version of you is going to show up. And I've been scared. The woman looks at him with tears in her eyes. And she says, "But don't you see? I did kill you. What I saw those years ago when you were 14 in the courtroom was a 14-year-old boy that I did not want walking the streets, that I did not want to commit those crimes again. And I was going to kill that young man. And I have done. In giving you a home, in giving you everything you didn't have, in loving you and accepting you, even though you had killed my son, I got rid of that young boy that was capable of committing murder for no reason." Both of them are crying, and they embrace. And she says, "There's one more thing." Wow, I'm welling up now. "There's one more thing. You haven't got a family. I haven't got a son. I would like to adopt you as my son." Can you imagine the moment? She reaches out, arms open wide, and hugs the boy. This is the first time. And she holds him as if holding her own son. And he is held for the first time by a mother who has accepted him, who loves him. That is the power of our love and our humanity and our purpose and our passion in action. The power to forgive, the power to connect, the power to bring the best version of ourselves. That woman who had every right to act out of anger and to act out of depression, who could only see hate potentially, chose instead to get out the best version of herself and to love. And her world was utterly transformed by that trauma. She was given a new son to love. And that young man's life, who had killed her own son, his life was transformed too. I love that story. It speaks to me about the power of who we are, who we can be, when we can stand in the truth of love and in who we were created to be. So that's all I want to say. I love that story. Prince EA tells it far better than I do. I hope it's given you something to think about this Friday. Just to remind you, I'm Charlie Hugh-Jones, founder and creator of Living on Purpose. We've got a seminar tomorrow in Palm Beach Gardens at the Executive Meeting Centre at the DoubleTree by Hilton. 8:45 a.m. is registration, 9 a.m. will start, and that's where we're going to look at unlocking the best version of you by igniting inspiration, by fueling your imagination and unleashing innovation. If you feel that life seems to be happening to you rather than you living a life of freedom and choice, then this seminar is for you. If you want more clarity and focus, if you want a deeper sense of purpose, if you want more success in your world, then this seminar is for you. If you want more contentment and happiness and to be more fulfilled, then this seminar is for you. And if you want to be more deeply connected with those that you love and to love more authentically and more profoundly, yeah, then this seminar is for you. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. If you can make it, you can sign up on the website. You can show up anyway. I forgot to say there's a discount. And one thing that I didn't say to anybody last time before is there's a free breakfast. I didn't say anywhere. I often know that food is a big draw. So when you show up, there's a big buffet, continental breakfast waiting for you so people can fill up with that before they start the session. And what you're going to get are some principles, some tools, and some strategies to unlock the best version of you. Thank you for being with me this Friday morning. I hope you have a fantastic day today. I hope that you feel fulfilled, that you are able to access that essential self that really connects with other people. I hope that you feel really good and you get to the end of the day. But if you don't, know that there are so many people out there who want to help you be the best version of yourself. And if you choose to show up tomorrow, I look forward to seeing you, sharing some more of my story, giving you some tools and techniques, and seeing the best version of you show up more often. Okay, that's it from me. Happy Friday. Hope that I get to meet you at some point. And if not, head on over to the website, charliehugh-jones.com, for some free resources, some inspiration, and you have a great Friday. I hope I get to see you. I hope I get to meet you. If it's not this year, then sometime next year. Until then, bye for now.